19 amazing animals that are nearly extinct. It's important to appreciate animals that, often due to human intervention, may not be around for much longer. Here's a list of some awesome animals that, unfortunately, are nearly gone from this planet. Number 19. Red wolf. Naturally occurring throughout the southeastern United States, these animals were once hunted to near extinction. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service came to the rescue in 1980 by rounding up 20 red wolves to be bred in captivity. Some have been released into the wild, but their numbers outside of captivity were thought to be around just 50 in 2015.
Number 18.
Saola. These animals don't exist in captivity and have only been officially documented in the wild on 4 occasions, so of course not a lot is known about them. They were discovered in 1992 and are identifiable by their 2 sharp horns and striking white markings on their face. Though they look more like an antelope, they are actually a cousin of cattle, and those can only be found in the Annamites Mountains in Laos and Vietnam.
Number 17.
Yangtze finless porpoise. These lovable animals have a mischievous smile and an intelligence level comparable to a gorilla. Unfortunately, they seem to be bound to the fate of their close cousin and an animal they used to share the Yangtze River with, the Beiji dolphin, which was declared functionally extinct in 2006. This declaration marked the first time that a species of dolphin had been wiped from the face of the earth as a direct result of human activity. With only hundreds remaining and a declining population, the Yangtze finless porpoise could be gone within the next decade.
Number 16.
Sumatran tiger. Though they can be found from coastal lowland forests at sea level to mountain forests as high as 10,000 feet, Sumatran tigers are critically endangered and only around 500 are thought to persist in the wild. They are the only surviving members of their group, which at one time included the Bali tiger and the Javan tiger. It appears that they will soon be extinct like their relatives. The expansion of palm oil plantations in their habitat, along with farmers and poachers looking to make money, are the Sumatran tiger's main threats.
Number 15.
Leatherback turtle. The 4th heaviest reptile, behind only 3 crocodilians, these turtles are easily distinguishable by their lack of a bony shell. Its carapace is covered instead of skin and oily flesh. They can grow to be up to 7 feet long and weigh as much as 2,000 pounds. Though they're considered vulnerable and not critically endangered as a whole, their numbers are declining, and many subspecies, like the Pacific leatherback, are near extinction.
Number 14.
Amur leopard. The amur leopard is a physical specimen capable of amazing feats. They can jump up to 10 feet vertically and almost 20 feet horizontally. They can also reach a top speed of nearly 40 miles per hour. They have a pretty typical lifespan for felines of around 15 years. Amur leopards can be found in Russia's Far East and northeastern China, where there are only an estimated 60 individuals remaining.
Number 13.
Black-footed ferret. Prairie dogs are essential to the black-footed ferret's diet. This is why, when farmers and ranchers, with the government's approval and assistance, eliminated prairie dogs, the black-footed ferret population took a serious hit as well. Fortunately, in the 1980s, a captive breeding program began, and in the years since, these ferrets have been reintroduced to the wild with promising results. They live across the Great Plains of North America, where there are thought to be around 300 living.
Number 12.
Giant otter. At 6 feet in length, these are the world's longest otters. They live in the rivers and creeks of systems in South America like the Amazon. Their velvet pelt has led to them being a target of poachers, and most wild population estimates have their numbers at fewer than 5,000.
Number 11.
Javan rhino. Rhinos in general are a very threatened species of animal, but none more so than the Javan rhino. The last of its kind to survive in Vietnam was poached in 2010, and only 60 survive in the Ujung Kulon National Park in Java, Indonesia. The reason they are poached is for their horns, which in traditional Chinese medicine is highly valued and fetches as much as $30,000 per kilogram.
Number 10.
Sumatran elephant. In the last 3/4 of a century, the Sumatran elephant's numbers have declined by at least 80%. Like many species of elephants and rhinos, they have been driven to extinction by human forces in the form of poaching and habitat loss. They are native, as their name implies, to the island of Sumatra, where approximately 2,500 survive in small patches across the island.
Number 9.
Hawaiian monk seal. Humans have moved into many of the coastal habitats that Hawaiian monk seals prefer, meaning space for them is at a premium. This has led to serious declines in their numbers, and today they are considered an endangered species. They live in the northwestern Hawaiian Islands that are either uninhabited or rarely used by humans. They spend most of their time swimming around in the ocean and preying on their favorite food, like eels, lobsters, and fish.
Number 8.
California Condor. One of the world's rarest birds, there were only an estimated 435 California Condors in December 2015. They were completely extinct in the wild by 1987, but there were 27 surviving birds that were bred at the San Diego Wild Animal Park and the Los Angeles Zoo. Beginning in 1991, they were reintroduced to the wild. Apart from being the rarest bird, they are also one of the longest living, having a lifespan of up to 60 years.
Number 7.
Black rhino. At one time, the black rhino was one of the most numerous of its species, numbering several 100,000 in 1900. Nothing about this animal's shocking decline since has been natural. European settlers that arrived in Africa in the early 20th century killed them for food or simply for amusement, driving their numbers to just a few thousand. Efforts from conservation organizations like the World Wildlife Foundation that began in the early 1960s likely saved this creature from total extinction. These animals are massive, weighing in at 3,000 pounds, sometimes even more. Despite this, they're pretty swift, capable of reaching up to 35 miles per hour in a dead sprint.
Number 6.
Bornean orangutan. Borneo is the third largest island in the world. It lies in Southeast Asia and is home to some 20 million people. It's also the native island of the critically endangered Bornean orangutan. Like other great apes, they are highly intelligent. They can use tools and share 97% of their DNA with humans. Unfortunately, their population has declined by over 50% in the last 6 decades, and they have lost over half of their habitat in the last 20 years.
Number 5.
Mountain gorilla. Around half of the 700 or so mountain gorillas remaining in the world live in the Virunga Mountains of Central Africa. The area is a battleground for militia groups and the Congolese army. In this picture, we see anti-poaching units and conservation rangers from the Virunga National Park carrying the bodies of mountain gorillas, whose lives were taken under mysterious circumstances. People feel that the attacks were politically motivated.
Number 4.
Monte Iberia eleuth. One of the smallest species of frogs on the planet, the monte Iberia eleuth wasn't discovered by humans until the early 1990s. They are only known to exist in 2 small regions of Cuba. They are easy to identify thanks to the 2 yellow stripes that run along its back.
Number 3.
Vaquita. Not only are these animals near extinction, but they are the single rarest marine mammal on the planet. Their numbers have been steadily declining since there were an estimated 620 years ago. Today there are no more than 30, and a last-ditch effort to attempt to reproduce them in a sanctuary is set to begin later this year. On average, they are a bit smaller than humans in body mass and can only be found in the northern end of the Gulf of California.
Number 2.
Cross-river gorilla. These gorillas are extremely wary of and unusually aggressive towards humans, which, along with their inclination to inhabit rugged territory, has made their scant numbers hard to predict. Using indirect signs, however, their population is thought to number only 200 to 300, spread across the forests of Cameroon and Nigeria. They have every reason to dislike humans, who have encroached on their territory by clearing their forest homes for timber, and have been the main reason for their critically endangered status. It's too bad these amazing creatures are endangered, but it's so important to learn about their predicaments so that maybe we can do a better job of coexisting with our fellow Earth occupants. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we hope you enjoy our next video.
Number 1.
Radiated tortoise. Radiated tortoises are blessed with an extremely long lifespan that can be at least twice that of a human being. The oldest ever recorded was Tui Malila, who lived to the ripe old age of approximately 188. They only occur naturally in the southern part of Madagascar. These beautiful creatures are considered endangered due to loss of habitat and poaching, which has cut their numbers down at an alarming rate.